Good afternoon and welcome everybody to Lunch Break with the Rabbi for today. Today is Tuesday. Just to make sure we got the right date over here. Today is Tuesday, October 13th. It is the 25th day of Tishrei as we continue progressing in our discussion in the book of Genesis. Today we continue to learn about the book of Genesis and the stories of how the creation of the world unfolded. As I mentioned yesterday, we welcome all comments and questions and suggestions for any future classes that you'd like to discuss. So feel free to always chime in, send me a message or an email of any subject that you'd like to discuss. Sorry about the delay for today. We were having some internet issues, but we're back up and running. So here we go. Today being that it's, as we continue our discussions in the book of Genesis, in the beginning of the book of Genesis, one of the most common, well-known stories is the first flaw that human beings have ever done. The first negative, so to speak, that human beings have accomplished in this world. We talk about the sin of the tree of knowledge. Adam and Eve, the creations of God, the only one in this world who hasn't been born to a mother or father, an absolute creation of God, are fallible. They make a mistake. God tells them a commandment. Only one commandment. The one commandment is, do not eat from the tree of knowledge. I have given you everything else you can eat. I've put you in the Garden of Eden, and you can have every single tree that's there, but one. The only one I'm not going to allow you to have is this one. Not only that, our sages tell us that the commandment of the tree of knowledge, of their forbidden to eat from it, was not even for a whole day. Adam and Eve were created on the sixth day of creation. Later on was going to be Shabbat. And as Shabbat comes, they will be permitted to eat from it. So we're talking about a total of 3 hours that they were not allowed to eat from the tree of knowledge. Over here, Adam and Eve were commanded. So again, what was their prohibition? Do not eat from the tree of knowledge, from this one singular tree, for 3 hours. Everything else you can have. Imagine, you tell your child, I am leaving the house for 3 hours. You can have whatever you want, but besides this package of candies. You come back home. What's the only thing they took? What's the only thing they ate was the package of candies you told them you're not allowed to do. Well, modern psychology says, well, that's a normal reaction. Try it. If I tell you, don't look right here, where did you just look? Exactly where I told you not to look. But we're talking about Adam and Eve. Great people. People who were created by God himself. How is it possible that these individuals couldn't hold themselves in for 3 hours? Eat everything else. What was so tempting about the tree of knowledge? Which brings us to a greater discussion about how does one know what his mission in life is? How does one know what their object in life is? Once somebody came to the Rabbi and asked the Rebbe that exact question. How do they know what their mission in life is? And the Rebbe answered them, by the thing that comes to you most difficultly. Many of us have different challenges, different obstacles, trials and tribulations in how we approach different things in life. But most things, we get through it one way or another. But then there is that one thing, no matter what you try to do, there's something edging you. There's something bothering you. There's something not allowing you for some reason to do it. It could be a simple custom or tradition that your family does. It could be a bigger mitzvah. Or even if you do it with very resentment. You're not interested. You're very lax about it. You do it to its most minimum. The Talmud tells us about a discussion about the great leaders and the great sages of the Talmud, that they would always discuss and say, Avuch, your father, b'mai zohir tfei, what was he most careful about? What mitzvah was he most diligent with? Every person has their forte, their mitzvah that they like. One person likes Simchas Torah, another person likes Chanukah, another person likes Passover. Every person has their forte. And so too the sages of the Talmud, they asked, what was your father's forte? What did he like most importantly about all the mitzvahs? But Hasidism and the mystical teachings tell us that the word zohir doesn't only mean careful, but also means shine. Every single one of us shine through a certain mitzvah. The mitzvah that we take, that we do, is because that is our opening into the world of spirituality. And because we enjoy that mitzvah so much, we then go on to do many others and it branches out. But each one of us has a certain forte, a certain pleasure in a certain type of mitzvah. But then there's that mitzvah that you just don't want to do. That mitzvah that seemingly is a bother. Every single time you want to do it, you have 110 excuses of why you shouldn't do it. Or every single time you're about to do it, you get lost, sidetracked and do something else. Whether it's a custom, a mitzvah, whatever it may be. Each person to their own. You know what that is? That is the evil inclination trying to stop you from your life's mission. Because the thing that is most difficult for you to do is because the evil inclination is trying to stop you from doing it. Because he knows how important it is for your soul. It may be a simple mitzvah, but the very fact that you get sidetracked at every single time you try to do it, you don't have the enthusiasm, the excitement to do it, is because the evil inclination's job is to stop you from doing your life's mission. The evil inclination is trying to stop you from making you shine because that is your mitzvah. That is your entryway into all the other mitzvahs. And for that reason we find, sometimes people ask me the question, how is it possible this great rabbi should do such a terrible thing? Or this great person who seemingly is religious should do such a terrible thing? The Talmud says the answer. The Talmud says the greater you are, the greater your evil inclination is. The more difficulty you have doing a certain mitzvah doesn't make you not religious. It doesn't make you not observant. It doesn't make you not great. It means you have a great evil inclination. And the question is, what are you doing about it? Are you tempering it? Or are you giving into it? Are you allowing the evil inclination to dominate you, or are you dominating it? So now let's go back to our story of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve. They were great people indeed. And because of that, they had a great temptation. They had a great evil inclination. The evil inclination at the time is the snake. The snake who tried to persuade Chava to eat from the tree of knowledge. And the moment Chava was persuaded to eat from the tree of knowledge, she saw, wow, I survived. I didn't get shot by lightning. I'm here. I didn't die. As today we find the same excuse. People who do many abrogations, people who live lives which are less than moral, people who live lives that are less than righteous, seemingly have it good. You don't see a person do immoral or unethical or an abrogation in the Torah all of a sudden shot up by lightning. On the contrary, many people are living a good life against the values of Torah and mitzvahs. Exactly what the snake said. You can survive. You can do great, not following God. Why bother listening to the commandment? Very enticing. And she goes ahead and persuades her husband, Adam, as well, to eat from the tree of knowledge. And he capitulates. What does God say? Now you're thrown out of the Garden of Eden. You didn't exercise that self-control. You didn't realize what is important. You went for a temporary pleasure instead of a long-lasting pleasure. That's exactly what the evil inclination comes along to do. The evil inclination's message of persuasion is, you'll survive, you'll be all right, there's no reason for you to get excited, don't worry about your soul, enjoy life. Look, it doesn't hurt. Whatever doesn't hurt, you can have. Over here comes Judaism and teaches us, learn from the tree of knowledge. Adam and Eve, yes, there was only 3 hours that they had to hold back from eating from the tree of knowledge, but because they were such great people, the temptation was even greater. The greater the temptation, the greater the individual, the greater the act that you have to withhold. So over here, the lesson for life that Judaism, that the story of the Adam and Eve is telling us, that if you are really tempted and if this is something which you really can't do because you always find some way to miss it, or this is something that really bothers you, is because this is the mitzvah that counts. So if it means sleeping in and you don't go to synagogue and you can never get yourself to go, probably that's what you should be doing. or if it means missing tefillin, giving charity, whatever mitzvah you pick, if you find that's the most difficult for you to do, work on yourself. Beat that evil inclination. And then you'll know you've accomplished much. Then you know that you have done your mission. You are now successfully overcoming all the temptations of the evil inclination trying to throw your way. Let us learn from Adam and Eve. Let us not capitulate to the evil inclination, to the snake that's persuasive and telling us life is good. You'll enjoy life. There's nothing wrong with living an immoral, unethical. Let's follow the word of God. Let's follow that we shouldn't touch from the tree of knowledge. Let us know what our life's core mission is, and we'll ultimately be more satisfied, more accomplished, and feeling overwhelmed by the beauty of our soul, basking in God's glory, that we are able to keep and to strive and to live a life according to the ethos and values of the Torah. Thank you for joining me today. Looking forward to being with you again tomorrow. Lunch break with the Rabbi at 1 p.m., continuing to study the story of Genesis. God bless you and have a wonderful day.